Good morning. I'm thinking about the ocean. I haven't been in the ocean since I was a small child, but that's what I'm thinking about this morning. I'm thinking about an undercurrent. An undercurrent is when the waves are coming into the shore on top and the water is going back out to sea on the bottom. There's this undercurrent and things going both ways. And if you try to stand in the midst of that, right, it knocks you down. Or if you're floating on top, it would carry you in. If you're swimming beneath, it could carry you further out and you not realize it. It's this to and fro, this back and forth, this up and down, in and out. And it's just constant and it's strong. It's as strong as all the power of the ocean coming in at the same time that it's demanding its water back. And that's what this current climate in our world feels like. We have the president saying one thing, the governor saying another. We have health departments saying one thing, and doctors on YouTube saying another thing. We have the stock market going up and the stock market going down. We have companies hiring and massive layoffs. We have many deaths, and yet maybe it's not as bad as we thought with COVID-19. We have all this back and forth. We have these currents that are strong above and below. And so I want to talk this morning out of Psalms 46. I preached on this in September just of last year, and I just want to look at it this morning and see if God can't comfort us in the midst of the chaos of this world that we live in. So let's take a look at this. Psalms 46:1 is a song. It says, God is our refuge and our strength. He's a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth should change, and though the mountains slip into the heart of the sea. If you remember, we talked about the natural phenomenon of the earth just in chaos. Its waters roar and foam. The mountains quake at its swelling pride. So you have the earth being chaotic there. I just want to jump down and show you another place that in verse 6 here in Psalms 46, the nations made an uproar and the kingdoms tottered. We learned that these words are the same as what the earth does. So nations, people, do the same thing that the earth does. It's in this flux of in and out, to and fro, back and forth, and kingdoms do this. And the Lord speaks into that. In fact, he goes on in verse 8, he says, come and see what the Lord has done. Behold the works of the Lord. He has wrought desolations in the earth. So he has parted the seas. He's flooded the earth. And he makes wars to cease when these nations foam and roar. He breaks their bow and he burns their chariots. And then today I want to look at verse 10 and 11, verses 10 and 11. So let's take a look at this. The end of all this is that we should cease striving. This is the New American Standard Translation. He says, cease striving. Your King James and your ESV is going to say, be still. The CSB and Holman would say, stop fighting. So there's two things that the psalmist is saying on behalf of the Lord here. One is be still, cease striving. Two is to know something, know that I am God. So this is obviously coming from God because of the I there, right? So two things God is telling us to do in the midst of the earth roaring and the nations roaring is to be still. I'll write that again. Be still and know that he is God. And he will be exalted, lifted high among the nations, and he will be exalted in the earth. In both of these, whether by earthquakes, floods, wars, nations rising and nation falling, he will be exalted. He's going to be lifted high. That's the most important thing. No earthquake, no nation, no united nation can hinder him from being exalted. He's going to do this. And so we can be still, is what he's telling us to do. It's a command. These are directives telling us what to do, is to cease striving, to be still, and to know that he is God and he's going to be exalted. So the response from the psalmist is the Lord. Notice the all caps there. It's Yahweh. That's his name. He is with us. So this is for the people of God. This is not for the whole earth. This is for the people of God. He is with us, and he's our stronghold. So as the earth and nations go to and fro and foam and roar and go crazy, and it's back and forth, there's a stronghold in the midst of this. And it is the Lord, the God of Jacob. He's with us. So we are in the middle of that. And he is with us in the midst of it. And he's a stronghold. There is a firm foundation that is not moving in the midst of this. So God is our stronghold. He's with us, and he's telling us to stop fighting, to cease striving, to be still, and to know that he's God. No matter what's going on, no matter what the earth does, no matter what the nations do, you can trust in him. He is not being moved with it. So, put this back together. I appreciate your patience with these videos. So if there's an undercurrent, if there's a roaring of the nations and a roaring of the earth, and we stand in the middle of it, and we are still, as humans, we're going to be carried away with it. We're going to shake. We're going to go with the current. We're not strong enough not to. It's when he is our stronghold that we can withstand the current above and beyond. And the thing about culture and the thing about nations is the current going this way and this way is in no doubt. And so anything standing in the middle is hearing, we're going this way. Why are you not going this way? Everything must go this way. And if you're standing in the middle, the current going on the bottom is saying, hey, we're going this way. Why are you not going this way? And so you're getting it from both directions with an undercurrent. And that's where we're at in the world today. So much noise, so much chaos, that there is so much certainty that this is direction or this is direction. And we're not strong enough for it as humans. We will be carried by one current or another. And so what we need to do is be still and not try to fight against both ourselves, but to be still and to know that he is God. So then the temptation is just to do nothing because he's God and whatever will be. But that's not it either. I'm reminded of an account in the Old Testament where Joab and Abishai were in war, and a group of 4 different armies had them surrounded. And I'll pull this up here. In 2 Samuel, I apologize. In 2 Samuel 10, he sends Joab and the army, David does, and the mighty men. The sons of Ammon came out and drew up in battle array against the entrance of the city, while the Arameans of Zobah and Rehob and the men of Tob and Maacah, maybe, were themselves in the field. So they're surrounded, is what that is. Now Joab saw that the battle was set against him in front and the rear. Just picture undercurrent, top and bottom. Oh boy, here it comes, from the front and from the rear. And he says he selected from the choice men of Israel, and he arrayed them against the Arameans. So he got his group of men, and he went to fight these Arameans. But the remainder of the people he placed in the hand of Abishai, his brother. He was another general, and he arrayed them against the son of Ammon, the ones that were in the field. So he says to his brother, he said, if the Arameans are too strong for me, think of the current going one direction, then you shall help me. But if the sons of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come to help you. So he made a plan. But then here's what he said. Be strong. Be strong, brother, and let us show ourselves courageous for the sake of our people and for the cities of our God. And may the Lord do what is good in his sight. May the Lord do what is good in his sight. So at the same time, he's saying, we're going to trust that God will do what's right and good in his own sight, that he has a plan. And his plan might be that the sons of Ammon or the Arameans destroy us today, but we're going to fight by faith. You fight there. I'll fight here. We'll help one another, but we're going to trust the Lord to do this. And so the being still does not mean doing nothing. The being still says we're going to fight against the upper current, we're going to fight against the bottom current, and we're going to do our best to stand. And in that is this truth of the solid foundation that God is in control. And he's doing something for our good, and we don't know what it is. But we have to trust him. I'm reminded also of Christ praying in the garden. He said, if it's possible, Father, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, your will be done. And the next day, he's standing and he says to Pilate, I'm here because it's my Father's will. It's a paraphrase. Pilate says, don't you know my authority? He says, you have no authority except what my Father gives you. Christ was trusting in the sure foundation of his Father, even in the midst of a torrent of currents, that he willingly trusted in his Father. And he let death sweep him away because his Father had a greater plan of the resurrection. So back to Psalms 46. See if we can get back there. God is our refuge and our strength. He is present to help us in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Our goal is to not fear. I would say that not fearing and being still go hand in hand. And we're going to feel the upper current. We're going to feel the lower current, all the chaos in our own minds. This isn't outside forces. This is our own hearts and our minds pulling us to and fro constantly. Let us as children of God be still to know that he is God. He will be exalted in the midst of our lives. And we can trust in him. We can know that he is our stronghold in Christ. In Christ, God is your stronghold. Hold fast to him by faith.